What's a halfling?
Halfling's like a hobbit.
Those short little fellers.
Go for Everett.
I fucking love that movie.
That's exactly how you sounded right there.
They done loved him up and turned him into a horned toad.
Well, he was looking at goddess titties.
So, Nicholas, you are just crawling very carefully, quietly. You hear, so you then feel a tap on your shoulder, and you hear, sir? And we'll come back to Kallista. So.
You leave me right there, damn it.
Yeah. Just here to tease you.
That's gonna bug me till it.
And that's where we'll end this episode.
Oh, that I would be mad. I'd be like, no. If she wants to go home, she can come to me. We're playing for another 30 minutes.
I'll take your call.
Yeah, good luck getting home. Okay, so you are sharing a drink with this man when the scenery shifts again. And you find yourself in a house. As you look around, you feel very much at home. Like this is where you live. And you hear a familiar voice outside calling for you.
I run to the door to see who's calling my name.
Okay.
Probably that decision.
So, are you opening the door or are you just...
I'm gonna open the door.
Okay. So, as you throw open the door to see who's calling, roll an insight check.
I'm gonna voice the die. Before I roll again.
Wisdom modifier in that too.
13.
You know what? I didn't come here to be attacked, alright?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you're right.
You throw open this door and you recognize the man from the bar. And it all suddenly comes back to you that this is the man you married. This was part of your backstory that we talked about.
Yeah, but I didn't die. Am I dead?
I mean, Nicholas was in a place that he's been to before. He was in his home, or near his home. You were reliving some scenes from earlier in your life. And as you see him and recognize who he is, suddenly, without even shifting, just almost as if everything around you has changed in the blink of an eye, you find yourself in a swamp.
A swamp?
Mm-hmm. About ankle-high fog. And very limited field of vision. You, however, can see water kind of lapping at the shore within the 20-foot radius around you. So you find yourself kind of at like the bank of some type of water. It doesn't seem to be flowing like a river or a stream, so you can assume a pond or maybe something bigger. But otherwise, very similar to what Nicholas was seeing.
I feel confused.
Okay.
I saw my husband. I didn't even get to like embrace him.
Right.
And now I automatically get switched to something else. I feel at this moment I'm gonna sit there and kind of be like, well, let me say this. Piece together my brain. I think I would be pissed that I didn't get more time in the last delusion. And I am just trying to get grasp on where I am. I just don't understand what's going on.
So, as part of your backstory, we talked about like it was, you being a con artist, and it was kind of your grift that like you played this guy, you got married, and
no, I didn't like him. I think I liked what he symbolized in my life, which was some form of stability, given my childhood. But at the same time, I did care for him in certain aspects because he was my steady, like, supplier, like, lifeline.
Right.
So him not being around would be a big issue for my stability. So I think that I, to some extent, whether I'm admitted or not, I did care for him, but only for the purpose that he served.
Only for that purpose?
I
mean, you cared about him. You lived here.
I mean, having, a little bit of a difficult life growing up, it is entirely possible that Kallista
forms some kind of bond or attachment.
Yeah, and may have had a hard time even admitting to herself that she cared about this man. Like, she initially saw him as an easy mark, someone she could just take the money and be done, or even play him for a while and get as much as she can, but kind of grew attached to him over time. And maybe as time went on, she thought about wanting to just end it and say, I'm going to take everything that he's got right now and be gone. But sounds like maybe she kind of found herself wanting to stick around,
Yeah.
In next week's episode of As New as damn it, I hate when I stutter. As New Alexandria Turns.
I can say this sounds pretty probable. It's a nice way with all the emotions that come about with spending time with someone.
Yeah.
That I probably did get a little attached to his... I don't even know what his name is. My ex-husband. We broke up because I went to prison, right? But what was the purpose of me even seeing him? So I met him in that bar, and we had a little drinky drink. But his wife had died. I don't understand. Was he trying to, like... I don't know. Was his ex... Was he married before? It was complicated. What do you believe in once you die? Like, how did that work out back in their day?
I mean, there were a few different things.
And some purgatory kind of shit going on.
Oh, there was the afterlife, but a lot of ancient Greeks seem to have believed in some reincarnation. Similar to how Buddhists believe that like you're reincarnated until you attain a higher level and you can kind of escape the cycle and get to nirvana. The Greeks kind of believed more in like you would be reincarnated a few times, and if you do well enough in each of those, kind of depends on where you end up. I mean, you don't think you're dead. Anyway, so yeah. Doriades, your husband. I mean, I think he was probably a little bit heartbroken when he found out that you were trying to con him initially, even though I think it was obvious to him that you cared about him. I think he was probably pretty upset. Maybe he even had some kids from his previous marriage who maybe they realized what was going on.
I was a stepmother?
No, I mean, you may not have known them very well.
So I met him at the bar, and he had just lost his wife, and I saw him being very vulnerable. Next thing you know, I swindled myself into his life.
Yep.
Possibly, if I'm just going over previous experiences.
Yeah, and I
That
mean...
makes sense.
So, yeah. Kallista, you don't feel like you're dead. You just don't really know where you are. You know, you've had kind of these flashbacks to previous experiences in your life, and now find yourself in a very unfamiliar place. And you notice the more that you're just there, kind of lost in thought, thinking about your husband, you hear skittering and whispers. Well, roll a perception check.
Oh, it'll be a 16.
You hear kind of an echo of someone just go, and then a few moments later, a little bit louder. Nicholas, what do you do?
Am I still on the ground?
Yeah. I mean, she's hearing the echoes of what just happened to you.
Nope, I don't see you. I keep crawling. No, I'm joking. Oh, hi.
So you hear this familiar voice say, "Oh, hi," kind of echoing.
I'm going to try to follow where this sound is coming from.
Okay.
See if I can get closer to the voice.
Sure.
The familiar voice.
Roll a probably survival check.
6.
Okay. You start to head in kind of what seems like the direction. But as you're walking along this hilly swamp area, you come to another bank.
I'm clearly lost as fuck, and I don't see anything around me.
Right.
And I can't follow what I hear.
Well, you can follow it, but
That's
it can be deceptive following echoes sometimes. So
I would.
true.
This would have actually been the perfect spot for the go for every joke.
Yeah. So, Nicholas, as you turn to see who it is who is trying to get your attention, you see this small form on what seems like a decently large marmot, but it looks strange. Not like any ferret or that sort of thing that you've ever seen, as it has almost a human face attached to this elongated animal body. And on it is a small creature.
Well, hi there. My name is Nicholas. What's your name?
He says, "Well, I don't have a name, sir, but you seem very lost, and as does your friend."
Your friend wouldn't have to look like a half-elf, would she?
"Well, I don't know what a whole elf looks like, but she's kind of funny looking, and so are you."
Did she have a little bit of an attitude, like she would probably kick you across this swamp if you crossed her?
Yeah.
That's her. Where's she at?
He points and says, "Right over there. You can't see her?
Do I see her?
No. It's just foggy.
Oh,
You can't see
roll the
no.
dice.
No, it's still..."
Would you mind taking me to her? I can't really see in the swamp.
So he says, "Okay.
I know we just met, but I'd really appreciate it."
You two do seem kind of helpless, so I guess I can help you out." So, Nicholas, let me give you a better description. I was just going completely off of memory. So yeah, this creature, it does remind you a lot of some kind of marmot, but with almost like a human-like face, with the nose of a dog, and the ears like perky,
Kind of like a
dog-like
muskrat.
ears. Sort of, but it has like a long mane, almost like a lion, of just thin white hair. The rest of it is kind of a pinkish color, almost like skin. It seems like it might just have like really, really fine hair over the rest of the body, aside from the mane. It definitely has a really long neck. It seems unusual. And on its back, you see this. When I say small, I mean it's very small. This is smaller than Sergio's. Maybe a foot tall.
Damn.
The thing that's on its back. And the creature itself is like a really big ferret. Like maybe double the size of a normal ferret. And this little creature almost looks like a bug to you. You notice that it has two large, almost fish-like eyes, kind of offset, wide apart. And right in between the two eyes is this large bulbous nose. And it almost looks like a roly-poly, but if it had almost a funny-looking human-like face to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Looks friendly.
Everything about that just seems bizarre. It's a strange combination of things that you've never seen anything like this. You've never seen anything like this. You've never heard of anything even remotely like this. It almost seems like something out of a fever dream.
Do I sense anything off about the guy?
I mean, you'd have to roll an insight check. But I mean, you did just ask it to lead you, so let's resolve that real quick. Just hold on to that.
I'm really glad because what I rolled.
No, you're keeping that. Just hold on to that. So it says, "Come on," and it has like a little spear, which to you is like a small knife almost. So it starts to lead you into the fog. And, as you approach kind of the edge of your vision, the fog recedes. Wherever you go, it seems to just be far enough out. Like when you're walking through fog normally, that as you get closer to it, it's easier to see. But then you look behind you, and it's just staying right there. You can still only see within that 20-foot radius. And after a little bit, you see Kallista just looking lost and probably pretty frustrated.
Yep.
Okay, well, since I've learned my lessons about making loud noise and yelling in situations...
Keep in mind, if you can see her, she's within 20 feet.
Right. I'm going to thank my little buddy for helping me find her. And then I'm going to walk up to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be able to walk in front of her so I don't spook her. That way she knows it's me.
Roll a perception check, Kallista.
And be like, hey, glad I found you.
17.
So you hear that these voices get closer. And as you kind of can figure out where they're coming from, you look over your shoulder a little bit, and just out of the corner of your eye, see the familiar hairy form of Nikolas, accompanied by this very small, bizarre-looking pair.
And as we walk up, Shawn Michaels' theme song's playing in the background. I'm just a sexy boy. That sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy.
We're done here. You're off the show. We're done. We're done. Nope. Nikolas starts to approach, seemingly kind of tentative, like he's almost hesitant to get too close, and like he's not trying to freak you out, but he's maybe trying a little too hard not to freak you out.
And I'm also cautiously watching him approach because I'm not sure if he's another delusion or not.
Sure.
So I call out to him, Nikolas, is that you?
Yep, all day long. Go for Kallista.
Kallista.
My name is not Kallista.
All right, Kallista. Gopher. I was trying to sneak through this swamp, mayhem.
He's not very sneaky.
Well, it's
He's
hard
very
to sneak
quiet.
past somebody that's 2 foot high, including your little thing you're riding on.
You just see that he seems to just beam. Like it's the best compliment he's ever gotten. And you hear, he said I'm 2 feet tall.
I lean over to Nikolas and whisper quietly, "What is that?"
I don't know, but he knew where you was at and led me right to you. He seems okay. I think I'm going to name him Dougie.
You can't name something just because you see it. Or it finds you.
So I yell at the creature, "Hey! I think I came up with a name for you. What do you think about Dougie?"
He just looks up at you and says, "Why are you yelling? I'm right here.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
I've been here this whole time.
I didn't see you walk with me.
I've been walking with you this whole time."
Never mind that. What do you think about Dougie?
Who's Dougie?
You are.
He just kind of looks confused and just mouth agape, doesn't say anything.
You don't have to name things. You aren't Christopher Columbus.
He's not born yet.
I know. I'm just saying. It's not necessary to name.
He says, "How did you two get here? I've never seen anything like you here."
Where exactly are we?
He says, "You really don't know?"
We was walking. We were kind of walking in the forest, and then just this fog picked up, and then we got separated. I wound up in some kind of funky illusion, and then wound up here when it was over.
So he just looks at you and says, "When you sleep, do you ever go places in your sleep?"
You mean like sleepwalk?
No.
You mean like dreaming?
Yeah, I think that's what they call it.
Of course, everybody does.
I don't.
Really? You never dreamt?
This is a dream. You are in the land of dreams.
I don't want to believe that, 'cause I like you, and when I wake up, you won't be here.
Oh, I'll always be here. The land of dreams is a very real place. You've heard of the gods, right?
Of course.
You know, Zeus, big horny guy. Do you know any of the other gods?
I know Tyche. The goddess of love.
Yeah, she's a pretty good one. Are you familiar with any of the other gods? Maybe Hypnos, the god of sleep? Or Morpheus, the god of dreams?
Well, I had a friend who always said he worshipped Poseidon.
Well, Poseidon doesn't live here. This is the land of dreams. Mortals don't normally come here in physical form.
How in the world did we get here?
That is a great question. And he kind of gestures around and says, "You don't see all of the other sleepers? They're all around.
Do I see anything?
Just fog."
No, all I see is fog.
He just looks at you and says, "This must be something to do with you being here when you shouldn't be here. That as a mortal, maybe you can't see what we can see. The natives of the dreamland."
Well, this is an interesting development. Also explain on why when I was home and you detect magic, I went on this weird fucking acid trip.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't use magic here. It doesn't go well. Your mortal magic is not meant to exist in the land of...
Is there a way out of here?
Well, I would not be the one to ask. I've always lived here, and I'll probably die here.
Do you know who would know?
So he says, "You can follow me back to the village. We can ask one of the elders."
You've been real helpful so far. I trust him.
I guess let's follow him.
Okay. So he begins to trot on his little marmot and leads you into this small town. The buildings maybe come up to your waist.
So we gotta tread lightly. Because we don't want to crush a building by accident. If I trip and fall, it's all over.
And so he leads you into the village. And says, wait here. Let me go get the elders. And goes into one of the houses. What do you guys do?
Sit here and wait.
Okay. Don't look around or anything like that.
I kind of scope out the place just by turning my head, but
Right.
other than that, he said to wait here, I'm waiting here.
Can I stealthily try to listen in to their conversation inside the house?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have to do anything with stealth for that. Because, I mean, you can just do that by standing there listening, but... Well, yeah, I mean, you could try to, like, be subtle about it.
I just got this little image of like little creatures in this house talking, and then all of a sudden you just see this big eyeball in the window behind them.
Yeah.
18.
Okay. So you kind of lean closer to this building and then roll your perception check.
It's a 1.
Okay. So you really just casually lean closer to this building and you're listening in. And you hear voices pretty clearly, but you cannot understand a word they're saying. You guys are, Nikolas, kind of looking around, seeing what you can see, and the fog seems a little thinner here, and you can see a little bit further, and you just see these creatures kind of scurrying about, you know. Some of them are on their little marmot creatures. And you notice that the marmots are talking.
That's new.
So it's almost like they're equally intelligent.
Looks like everybody's equal around here. They just work together.
So as you're kind of looking around and you see, they all pretty much seem to be wearing roly-poly looking armor. And they're just all kind of chatting, going about their business. And then Dougie comes back out and says, well, I have some good news.
Okay, what's the good news?
Well, I also have some bad news.
Okay, what's the bad news?
So, the good news is you're not dead. Probably.
Okay, so mostly dead. That's a plus.
But we don't know how you got here or how to get you back.
Well, it doesn't look like you got a bad setup here. I'd be all right living here, I think.
Oh no, that's okay. No, we're good.
Oh,
Thank you though.
I feel so rejected.
we feel a little uncomfortable with mortals being here. We don't want to upset Morpheus.
We didn't mean to get here. I don't even know how we got here. If you guys don't want us here, we'd be happy to leave, but we gotta know how.
Wait a minute. Did you say you knew where Morpheus is?
Well, no one ever knows where he is. He kind of does his own thing, but I guess we could lead you to his visitation chamber.
Wouldn't he know how to get out of this place? Or be able to help us
Maybe.
leave?
It's worth a shot. I ain't got any other ideas.
I just really need to get back. I have so much money, and I don't want to get looted while I'm half dead.
Yeah, we hear a lot about you mortals and money. I don't really understand it.
I got 50 gold, so I'm good.
Wow, you must be really proud of that.
I am, actually.
That sounds like a lot.
It's a decent amount, okay? I mean, it's...
He says,
Let's go try to find Morpheus. Is that his name?
Morpheus?
Yeah.
Just like Spider-Man.
I just want to go home.
Oh, no, that's Morbius.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Thank the Matrix. That's where they got the name Morpheus from.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Alright. He says, Dougie will lead you. But, it's not always safe out there, so I hope you guys know how to defend yourselves.
Well, she does all right.
We don't have shit.
Hell, that's
We don't
right.
have
We ain't
any
got
weapons.
We ain't got our freaking weapons.
He says, Dougie seems a little confused because you guys have stuff.
What do you mean we have stuff?
It's clearly there. Maybe where you were in Dreamland before you didn't, but I don't think you've looked since you got here.
Holy shit! I got my swords.
Alright, so he says, now that we've sorted that out, are you ready to go?
Yes, we gotta get out of here. You said it's not good for us to be here.
Well, here, in our village, we would really rather not have mortals just hanging about.
Well, earlier you also said that mortals don't usually come here, which tells me it's not a good thing that we're here.
Maybe.
Do you just not want us here because we're mortals?
Well, like I said, I really don't want to make Morpheus mad. And you really aren't supposed to be here, so anything to get you guys back where you should be. It really has nothing to do with your height. We don't care about that.
Sure.
But mortals aren't supposed to be here. We just want to make sure that everything goes where it should go, and that mortals stay in the mortal realm. And we just want our dreamland.
I can respect that. Appreciate your help, friend.
That sounds really discriminatory. But fair enough. Can you please take us to where we need to be? If we have to
Absolutely.
fight to the death.
Whoa, hey, what's this death thing you're talking about? We don't have to.
Calm down, Conan.
With you.
So many in-character references to things that don't exist. Stop.
Wait, Conan the Barbarian, what around that time?
He says, I'll take you. It's nothing personal. You seem like nice enough mortals. But I don't know what would happen if Morpheus found you here. I don't want to find out. He's kind of a scary guy sometimes. So, whenever you're ready, we'll head out.
Let's go.
All right. And that's where we're going to end for today.